Hi, this is Frank Todaro, and you're listening to the GeekCast Radio Network.
Quack, 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 quack. No!
Hell was that? There is nothing wrong with your podcast player. Do not attempt to adjust the volume. Hello and welcome back to our studio. This is Studio 2009 on the GeekCast Radio Network. I am, of course, TFG1Mike. Joining me, as always, Steve Megatron. Hello.
Hello.
This is episode 21, folks. We just wrapped up an awesome conversation with Dustin Van Coor on his podcast approach, and now we are going to give you 2 minutes for hooking, 2 minutes for slashing, and don't forget my personal favorite, 2 minutes for game misconduct.
Or 5 for fighting.
Yeah. No. Bad band. No. No Superman. Thank you very much. No.
I was waiting to see if you'd catch it.
Oh, I caught it. Trust me, I caught it. Bring up 5 for give you 5 for fighting. Yes, we are here, and we are finally doing something here on the GeekCast Radio Network that we haven't done at all in our 12-year history. Mainly because originally I was going to have a different host on talking about the Mighty Ducks franchise, but since that person is now, quote unquote, dead to me. Yeah.
No, I know who it is.
I don't have time for your podcasts. Well, I don't have time to watch your crappy YouTube videos. Anyway, the Mighty Ducks. What is your exposure? What was your exposure? What is your fandom of the Mighty Ducks as a franchise, sir?
Well, funny enough, I grew up with the first film because obviously it came out in 92. And although born in the 80s, I'd been raised on 90s programs and 80s stuff, thanks to my parents. But I grew up with the first film, and I remember watching part of the second film and then part of the third, but I never actually completed them until recently. And it was more so that I would at least feel well-rounded when I watched them, because I knew there were changes in the lineup of the cast, and there were different scenarios and different things that happened to them, and I wanted to know what basically happened through the three films, other than the first one, so that I was prepared for the game changers, regardless of what happens. And that was before watching much of the game changers. I think I'd seen a couple episodes, and then I was like, I should probably watch these first three. And so I rewatched the first one. It hit all those notes of the 90s. Much of them did. But it also hit a lot of the aspects that I enjoyed of 90s programs. And I love hockey. I like Emilio Estevez and pretty much everything he's in. And so having this whole full circle and reviving the franchise after all this time had me very interested. Plus, I didn't like the coach for the Mighty Ducks in the Game Changers.
We'll get to that.
Yeah. So anyway,
we will.
But no, I loved the first three films. I loved how it was basically a community service thing. Oh, guess what? You're an idiot. You were drinking. You drove.
His Gordon Bombay's driver dude that goes around with him in the first film reminds me of Argyle from Die Hard, even though Argyle was only in a few select scenes, but just the character of the limo driver reminds me of either Argyle from Die Hard or Henry from Blank Check, who always drove Preston around everywhere.
I think I liked Henry from Blank Check more.
Yeah, well,
it's because he was more like, hey, I'm your friend, let's do it.
Yeah, exactly. My exposure to the Mighty Ducks, coming from originally from Massachusetts, and Massachusetts, I've said this on many other podcasts, and I'm sure it's like this with other, like, I don't know about you and the Detroit teams, but any other city, it's like, oh, this is sports is law kind of thing. Well, to me, sports in Boston was a whole nother level. And hockey is no different. The Boston Bruins, all of that. I remember, when did the first film release? Oh, I know it was released in, so October 2nd of 1992. 8 months prior to that, I think a week after my birthday, my 12th birthday, I was in my aunt and her parents and whatever, they had box seats, or not box seats, but they had season tickets to the Boston Bruins games. I was at the game in 1992 in February where Ray Bourque of the Boston Bruins scored his 1,000th goal. I remember this like it was yesterday. So hockey, I have ice in my veins, folks. I have ice in my blood. My blood is essentially liquid ice. I can probably shoot out a hockey puck out of my wrist if I wanted to, kind of thing. So that's where I'm coming from with this, is we were so a hockey family. My cousins used to do youth hockey just like this stuff was, kind of. And my Aunt Debbie, I remember, I'm sure most hockey moms are like this, but Massachusetts hockey moms were, again, on another level of just pure adrenaline, emotion. They would yell at the players. They would yell at the coaches. They would yell at the refs. I think I'm probably misremembering this, but I think she actually even got 2 minutes in the penalty box because she went out on the ice at one point. I don't remember, but whatever. So essentially that's my exposure. And I remember 92, 94, 96. I was 12, 14, and 16. I remember seeing all three films in theaters. I remember seeing The Mighty Ducks in 1992. It was one of the two films that year I saw in theaters. The other one was, sadly, Batman Returns. Ugh. Yeah. Anyway. But I remember seeing hockey on the big screen and watching it. You had said you watched it. You watched the three films to prepare for Game Changers. I have known these three films. I've looked at their Wikipedia articles off and on over the years, but I haven't actually gone back and watched the original three films until probably about 6 hours before this recording. I watched all three films the same day we're recording this podcast. Every single scene. And the things I come away with these movies is I wish movies were made like this again. You look at the first and second one. The opening titles. Most of it, at least in the first one, it's just black background with blue text. There may be a few things with Young Bombay, but I think that was more in the second one than the first title sequence. Yeah. But it was just simple. It had the music, it had the this, it had the that, it had all the credits. At the end of the movie, they sang Kumbaya or whatever they did. I forget what they did off the top of my, even though I just watched it, but like it was the end to the film. You didn't need to wait through the credits for an after credit scene. Not saying there's anything wrong with after credit scene. That's the culture we live in now. Watching these movies again today was a refreshing thing that I didn't have to worry about missing something at the end of the movie, because when the credits roll, the movie's over. You know? Mm-hmm. And I did not watch these before I watched Game Changers. I will freely admit, as of this recording, I have only watched from beginning to end, I think I have only watched the first episode, the third episode for some odd reason, the 6th episode, which was the reunion, and the 10th episode, which is the finale. I did skip through the other episodes, but Game Changers to me, I'm just going to say it. I'm a person who does not have children. I have zero interest in becoming a parent at the age I'm currently at 41. And these hockey moms, the way they portray these hockey moms, the one that's against them, the one that Laurel, I'm just going to call her Lorelai, folks, because I remember from Gilmore Girls, from what I've seen of that show. But essentially, who's the main mom? Alex, the woman she works for. That's one that, like, I don't remember hockey moms being as vicious as her boss is.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's overly played out a little bit just because it's Disney. Yeah, so they're going to do that. But yeah, the boss character, I can't remember her name, and I'm trying Stephanie, that's what it is. Yeah, because Lauren Graham plays Alex Morrow.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I see, but there are people like that railroad their subordinates and like, yeah, if you could take care of that for me, thanks. I almost got what is it? I can't remember it now. It's like the Office Space. The guy that goes, I believe you have my stapler, and like his boss is like, yeah, if you could have that on my desk by 3 p.m. today, that would be great.
I mean, Lumberg.
Yeah. So that's basically the vibe I get from the Stephanie character here, and also of the I'm so much better than you aspect, where you get Alex, and then you've got some of the other parents, and they're kind of the every parent, the normal, like, I want my kids to be a part of something. I don't want it like so cutthroat. Like, yes, I want them to win, but I don't want them to win at the cost of just being robots for the sport. And so I get it. I really do. And then as far as, the Coach T character, he's your typical pompous 90s villain. Almost a little bit more played out like a Disney character, but not quite to that extent. But he's definitely along those lines to that cutthroat kind of douchey character.
Right. So, what were your memories of the first, just really quickly, when you rewatch the first 3 films, what are your highlights and your lowlights of each of them?
Well, I love anytime Gordon Bombay comes in there, but I also love the fact that they call him out on his crap when he's pretty much not doing what he set out to do, which is to teach them and to be the coach. Mm-hmm. And he's constantly in the various movies fleeting or looking after this next, what's next for him, not necessarily for them. Yeah. And the first film, not so much. Like the first film, he kind of grew a conscience and was like, all right, screw you, boss, and then quit. Whereas the second film, he got sucked into because it's the Olympics,
and with Hendricks
the
hockey,
Junior Goodwill Games,
and
so he's sucked into the media, into the the interviews, the prestige, all the stuff that was important, and finally gets his ducks in a row. And then the third movie, he just completely up and, all right, I took a promotion, see you guys later. And then leaves them with a new coach, and then has to kind of re-educate them on, give them a chance, because, and then he does come to their rescue later. But so the Gordon Bombay's character, Emilio Estevez's character, really stood out to me in a lot of those. And then, of course, you get the cast of the originals that are mentioned throughout the later stuff, or especially when you get trying to remember names here. So you get anytime Hans showed up, it was great because he was often educating Gordon, but then he was also educating
the
Charlie.
kids. Yeah. So Hans was in the first and the third film. He was not in the second film. His brother Jan was in the second film. And Jan, I love what Jan says, and it's not just because I remember this, because I just recently watched it within the last 12 hours. He says, "Oh, Hans, he went back to wherever they live, in whatever country they live in, to help Mama or whatever. Don't get me started on that strudel head." Yeah, I love Hans. I love Jan. I think they are the old guard mentality kind of thing to help Gordon along, to kind of show Gordon the way, and yeah, I mean it's awesome.
Yeah, and of course, you have multiple characters that carry over to the Game Changers, just for the sake of, the Ducks ball, which was kind of weird.
So it's so funny to me with Game Changers because, okay, I remember in 1992, the first time I saw Fulton. I'm like, okay, cool, great, Not that I didn't want to follow the kid's career or anything, but I didn't really follow his career at all. The guy that plays him, Eldon Henson. So I haven't, past this movie, Eldon Henson was in Jaws, The Revenge. Eldon Henson was in Turner and Hooch. That might have been his big break, actually, because I don't think anybody can call additional voices in Jaws the Revenge their big break. He was in She's All That. He was in all 3 Mighty Ducks films. And then go over to Netflix, and he is friggin' Foggy Nelson in Daredevil. And I'm like, what the hell is Fulton Reed doing in the Marvel Universe? Absolutely love that. Yeah, the reunion thing was great. I thought
I did love seeing the characters where they are now, why they're not playing hockey, and because obviously they're older, and most of them didn't want to do that forever, but they enjoyed it for when they had it. But I liked how they picked apart the reason that, Gordon was trying to just make it look like he was a crotchety old man, and they come to find out that he just wasn't invited.
Yeah.
And they were trying to nominate that Coach T, who was a total dirtbag. And it goes to show, that they were lifting up those that actually were good from the original instead of taking a total dump on them.
Yeah, and I mean, Game Changers is done by the same people that did the originals. I mean, this isn't like somebody, this was developed by Stephen Brill, who was the original guy that did it originally. So it isn't like this is just somebody trying. This isn't the 90210 or Melrose Place reboot that CW tried to do, kind of thing, with Game Changers. And I like some of the main characters, the kid characters in Game Changers. I like where they're going with it. I just didn't like how, it didn't seem, and I know in the first film, the kids were more so doing pranks, like the whole dog shit in the purse and the guy in the, all of that. But, at least the kids in the first film were actually into hockey. And yes, Evan was on the Ducks, and the Ducks have been this powerhouse team for the last 10 years. Or he got cut from the Ducks, I should say, rather.
Yeah.
I get it. Like, that's where he's coming from, but I don't think we saw enough. Like, the Ducks in Game Changers are essentially the damn Hawks. And I'm sorry, Coach T is a whiny, bitch-ass teabagger compared to who Jack Riley was, played by the late, great Lane Smith. Anything Lane Smith ever acted in, that man is an amazing, amazing actor. From The Mighty Ducks to Son-in-Law, he was the dad in Son-in-Law. He was single-handedly one of the best Perry Whites in Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman. And I know that just from memory, folks, because I love the guy so much. Coach T is nothing like what Coach Riley was, and he tries to be, but again, it's just one of those things where I didn't really connect with. I connected with Evan with the fact that his mom wants a team where, basically she wants the old Ducks, essentially. And I will always love Gordon. No matter what bad thing that character does, you can always redeem him. He's always a teachable character. He isn't so far gone that you just have to walk away from him. And, at the beginning of the season of Game Changers, he's like, I hate kids. I hate hockey. I tried to get a sign, but I got this close. I hate hockey.
It's snowing.
Anyone know where I can find District 5?
There he is.
Lester Averman.
Oh, it's real.
Ken Wu.
Good to see you, Coach.
Man, you got big. You again. You again.
Yeah.
Donnie.
Hey, guys.
Coach G. Wow. Devil. Adam Banks.
Coach, how you doing?
Big Eater no more.
How are you?
Oh, wow. Wow.
It's District 5.
District 5. That was
Sure.
Quack, quack, quack.
Quack, quack, quack. Quack, 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 quack.
Look at this. Connie, you look amazing in that hockey gear.
Oh, I looked even better kicking butt in hockey gear.
Check out the hair on the Avermeister, getting his fro on. He's fro-alicious. Orange creamsicle fro. Yo, where the fro's at? Where my fro? Still talking like that, huh? No, not really. I just figured I'd break it out tonight because I know how much you love it, right? We remember things very differently, Averman.
Hey guys, check me out. Man, I miss getting in fights on the ice. Good times.
Who says they've got to end? Breadsticks?
Ken Wu, you're making my day, buddy.
Game Changers, I think
It has a lot of potential. And
it has a lot of potential. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was going to say I'm quite happy with it overall. But I mean, it's got room to improve for sure, but it's definitely a lot of fun.
It is, yeah. I like the show once
Gordon gets more involved.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but Alex is no coach. She is a hockey
I
mom.
didn't mind it because it's just showing this mom that's just fed up with the way things are.
Right, and I understand that part, but like her trying to be the Gordon Bombay of the series when Gordon Bombay is right there not giving a shit. But then again, like I said earlier, a second ago, he comes around. He sees her struggling and he wants to help because he was there, not only as a coach, but as a player and all of this. And because the franchise has the history that it has, I see the potential. I just didn't like a lot of the ways that it got to be where the potential should be of it. And I'll be honest, this is pure nostalgia for me, but the reunion episode.
It was a good game. I just didn't hit it in the right
You
direction.
guys have all done really well for yourselves. You look great. Banks, I heard you became a lawyer.
Public defender. I learned a long time ago to fight for the good guys.
Averman,
Yeah.
what have you been doing?
Okay, I don't want to brag, but I take a limo to work every day.
Living large, not surprised. You're a clever kid. Annoying, but clever. Very much.
This is true. This is true.
And Guy married Connie Moreau. You guys went the distance.
Yeah, but now it's Minnesota State Senator Connie Moreau.
That's right. And I am just a lucky guy that gets to go along for the ride and take care of our 7 children.
We have 3 kids.
It feels like 7.
We invited you to the wedding. You never responded.
Yeah, man. Nobody's heard from you in years. Where you been?
Move around a lot. You know, I'm not really good with my mail.
Probably in the same pile as your Spirit of the Ducks invitation.
Man, that party is going to be awesome.
Yeah, it is.
Looking forward to it. The kids. Are you going to speak? Maybe then we can finally hear what you've been up to?
Yeah, I'm not going to go to that thing.
Why wouldn't you go?
I got some things going on. I'm not going. No, it's just not going to...
You got some things going on. Jeez. Whoa. Look at this guy. I mean, what, do you coach college hockey and all of a sudden you got like this bigger head than when we first met you? Are you avoiding us on purpose?
Yeah. No.
Yes, you are. Our wedding, this gala. I mean, you know, what's it going to take to get you to hang out with us? Another criminal court order?
Wow. I'm sitting right here.
Don't tell me Charlie was right
What?
about you. He didn't come because he said it's not like you've been showing up for us lately, so why should he show up?
Charlie said that?
You know, you started all of this. You're our coach. Don't let us down now.
Look, we were a team. It was a long time ago. But I think it's time that we all just move on.
And the finale are my 2 favorites of the 10 episodes. Because again, at the end of D3, we know they go back and they get the scholarships and all of that and everything else. We don't know what Averman or any of those characters, we don't know what the heck they did. And some of the actors, since those films, oh boy. I know child actors can get in trouble, folks, but yikes. And I understand everyone I have my problems, you have your problems, the next guy in line has his problems. We all have issues that we deal with. But damn, I want to bring this up. I don't want us to talk about it too long, but I have to say this. I did not realize that one of the Hall brothers is Jussie Smollett. Is played by Jussie Smollett. I did not even know that. I was like, wait, what? So you got Brandon Adams as Jesse Hall, and you got Jussie Smollett as Terry Hall. I did not even realize, and I'm like, oh boy, that kid from that guy from Empire. Didn't even realize it. Just crazy, folks. But I mean, going back to this, it made me enjoy a movie again. Like, yes, I enjoy watching movies now, but the way they make movies today versus the way movies were made back, because you have to think, D1 was maybe, since it released in October of 92, maybe it was in production 90, 91, something like that. I don't know. Yeah, Emilio was cast in 91. So, I love why he was cast, though. Stephen Herrick, the director, was impressed by his performances in Brat Pack films like The Outsiders, The Breakfast Club, and St. Elmo's Fire. Okay, I, off the top of my head, don't remember what character he played in The Outsiders, but he plays Andrew the Jock in The Breakfast Club, and he plays one of the other characters in St. Elmo's Fire. And I'm like, oh, interesting. Those are the Oh, that's right. He was Kerbo, the lost. Oh, that would make sense. Law student. Okay, got it. Yeah. Insane Almost Fire. Anyway, but you have like we were saying earlier, some of the cast departures, and I understand by the second film. Okay, so cast cameo appearance departures. Tommy Duncan are not in the second film. Terry Hall, not in the second film. Carp is not in the second film. Peter Mark was the character played by J.D. Daniels. He was the street punk goon image, and he, that was replaced with, Portman and that kind of stuff. Obviously, Hans wasn't in the second film. His brother Jan was. The interesting thing, I want to say interesting, not funny, because I was sure. So Hans dies in the third film.
Yep. I
was sure the actor had already passed away.
I thought that when the second film happened.
Uh-huh.
And they changed the actor.
Yeah. No, they never. Well, I don't remember off the top of my head for the second film. But because he's not, Joss Auckland, who is the actor who plays Hans, is not in the second film. Who plays Jan in the second one? Jan Rubez? I'm not even sure how to. But anyway, so the guy who plays Hans, Joss Auckland, he is 93 years old. He is still alive. And he and his wife of over 50 years had 7 children together. But yeah, I mean, I just and then you get to the third film, and then obviously you have the varsity versus junior varsity. The most interesting thing to the third film going back, and I kind of always knew this, like I knew the guy. Wasn't sure exactly where I knew him from, but Jeffrey Nordling, who plays Coach Ted O'Ryan, you know him. You've seen him in a movie that we kind of sort of liked. He is the guy who played Mackie in Tron Legacy. He's the boardroom guy in Tron Legacy. Uh-huh. He's the chairman of the board in Tron Legacy. I was like, hey, that's Coach Orion from D3. Because he has a voice, like, anytime I hear his voice, I know exactly. I may not remember his name, but I'm like, oh, that's Coach Orion from D3. So, yeah. It's interesting how the posters change throughout the films. The first film's poster has, like, 2 of the kids facing off kind of thing.
Well, that's the second film.
Yeah, no, that's the second film. The first one has, I think that's Goldberg.
It's a mashup of all the kids, like, in the background with Gordon pointing at him.
Yeah.
And then in the second one, he's got, like, definitely that 90s look to it.
And the third one just has
the third one. He looks like he's he's got the ducks behind him, but he's like 1 foot out the door.
Yeah, well, the third poster has
Disney on.
Well, the giant D duck hockey mask. So yeah, I love this franchise. The animated series was awesome. We're gonna have to do a whole episode of Tooncast on this animated series because I need to go back and watch that.
Same.
I did not watch it in preparation for this, but I remember how cool the Mighty Ducks animated series was.
You want to know something funny? Rotten Tomatoes, not that I put much stock in them. They say that the Ducks films have a 20 to 25% rotten on the tomato meter and 45% for the audience score. Doesn't surprise me, but...
All right, so let's talk about these 3 films just in the aspect of beginning, middle, and end. Each of the 3 films starts you off. You start at the beginning in D1. You start with Gordon and his road that he goes down to get to the point where he gets to District 5. He doesn't want to be there. They don't want him there. He drives out on the ice, yada, 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 yada. He basically, gets to the point where he likes the kids. They like him. whatever D2. They've beaten the Hawks. They've vanquished their rivals. They've got Adam Banks because the district lines were redrawn last year or whatever. And now they're going to the Goodwill Games, and that was a big thing in '94, in all of the '90s. And I know the Olympics are still a big thing today, but man, between '88 and '92, the Olympics were huge, and then '94 and '96, they were huge. Like, we were always watching the Olympics, so them going to the Junior Goodwill Games and seeing all of that. But again, it's the middle arc for all the characters. Some of the characters change, some of them leave, kind of thing. And then in the third film, they basically send them to high school. So I guess D4 is going to be college, and D5 can be adulthood, and oh wait, that's what Game Changers is for.
Yep. We just skipped 20 years. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. So what else do we want to say before we get the heck out of here, and before we pose it to the audience? What else do we want to say about the Mighty Ducks franchise?
I definitely think it has longevity. I think that it has a lot of strengths, a lot of minuses, but I think that overall, I think that it's a very fun franchise. There's a lot to learn from it, a lot of teamwork, a lot about hockey, a lot about being a good coach to people, whether it's life or hockey. Mm-hmm. So there's just a lot of variables in it, and definitely just think that it's an enjoyable show. I mean, especially now being a parent, just seeing life struggles of kids and having to equate that to, how it's watched and seeing like the parental differences as opposed to just seeing it as, I relate with that teenager, which is difficult to do now because I'm not one. So yeah, I mean, you get a little bit of that. I mean, relating in what you remember, but also in the other aspect.
Right. How old is Ian now?
8.
Okay. I saw this film when I was 12. The first film when I was 12. At what age do you think you would show Ian the first Mighty Ducks movie?
Probably 10. Enough to mentally grasp what's being shown and not pick up on the ideas of, lighting a bag of dog crap on fire in a purse.
Yeah. Hey, kids be crazy, man. I don't know.
There'd be bad parents, man.
Well, true. And that's the interesting thing about most of the Mighty Ducks film, most of the 3 films, we only see Charlie's mom and Jesse and Terry's dad. We don't really see the other parents.
Well, you see the Banks dad.
Okay, yeah, you see Adam Banks' father.
But overall, until the Game Changers, you don't really see them.
Yeah. And I know everything has a plan. And I know this has a plan because I read the article where they said, oh, yes, that was planned out from the beginning. When the Ducks come back in Game Changers, the old Ducks, they left the old... I don't know how many people, and I'm sure lots of people noticed this. I'm sure you noticed this. They left the old uniforms, hence why the season ended the way it did, with them taking on the old uniforms of the old team.
The Ducks have become a bunch of cake eaters.
Woo! Throwback burn! Nice!
You're the original cake eater. Hey, I haven't had cake in 25 years. Hey, the original Ducks. All right.
Oh, it's the cutout guy.
That's the guy. Yeah. Anybody want a picture with the real thing? No, I'm just good. Hey, take care, man. Good. Thanks, man.
Are you guys the original Ducks?
Yeah.
I Google you guys all the time. As a fan, it's not weird.
We got fans.
It's a little weird.
You guys gotta go get Gordon Bombay.
Pass.
Yeah. He made it pretty clear he didn't want to come.
Abundantly clear.
Yeah, he doesn't care about this or us.
No, that's not it. He wasn't invited. They're embarrassed by him. They think he doesn't fit in. He probably just didn't want you guys to know.
Hey, Ducks. So, when you said you drive a limo...
I drive a limo for a dude who makes a lot more money than me.
So, who taught you it was okay to drive a limo on the ice?
I learned from the best.
We heard you didn't get invited to the party. That's crazy.
Yeah, well, maybe it's better that way. You guys should just go and have fun.
We've been there, and it's no fun. At least not without you.
Get in the car, Bombay.
Come on. Come on.
Let's go. You're thinking about it.
Don't make me get out of this car and drag you in here. Come on. Come on. Come on, Coach.
As a Ducks player, Coach Steve was a two-time captain and a three-time state champ. As our head coach, he has led us to our longest winning streak in team history. He embodies the true spirit of Ducks. And so I'm thrilled to announce our first recipient of the Ducks Lifetime Achievement Award.
Should be Gordon Bombay.
I'm sorry? What's going on? What's going on here?
What's going on?
Hey, okay, excuse me. What do you think you're doing?
Hello.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's okay.
If you want to talk Duck spirit, there's only one person worth mentioning. This guy. He found me in an alley.
He
saw my potential and he gave me a shot.
Before I left the Hawks and became a Duck, I kind of sucked as a human. Well, I would have fit right in here, though. Anyway, but when I started playing for this guy, I wanted to be a better person.
And our team was a bunch of forgotten nobodies, but Coach Bombay made us into champions. Because he taught us it wasn't about the win. That's right, cardboard cutout guy. It was about everything else. The fun, the heart, the team. Ducks fly together.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was really awesome that they did that way.
Well, it also was kind of screwing with them for their head game.
Well, yeah, true. With the actual the fake Hawks or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, where they dubbed themselves the Ducks a little early.
Yeah,
just to get in their head.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like leaving the uniforms. Like again, how are like. That's another thing I noticed in the films. First of all, they go in and they buy stuff and whatever, and then all of a sudden Gordon comes in with all of the new Duck stuff. In the second film, they have the USA stuff, and then by the third period, it was Jan that showed up with the box of the new Anaheim Mighty Ducks uniforms kind of thing. And the same thing in the third movie. There's a way for them to always work in the classic Duck uniform, whether it's the new Anaheim hockey team one or the original District 5 green, yellow, and whatever one. So there's always a way for them to work in the uniforms. And I thought with the old players coming back and leaving that box, I thought that was a cool way. Okay, we always talk about on this network about MacGuffins and Matrix of Leadership or Power Swords or set your state phasers to stun or whatever. We always talk about the giant MacGuffin in the room. Every time in this entire franchise that they work in the uniforms, whether it's the full-on classic one, whether it's the more modern hockey team one, it always makes sense how the uniform comes back to whomever are the actual Mighty Ducks.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. All right, so to the audience, what is your opinion of the Mighty Duck franchise? Do you love them? Do you hate them? Let us know. what is your favorite of the movies? What did you like or dislike of the Game Changers first season? Are you excited for season 2 for the Game Changers? What are your opinions on that? Anything else you'd like to say before I close it out, sir?
Nope.
All right. You can find us online. GeekCastRadio.com, obviously, and Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff. Twitter is It's Studio 2009. Facebook is Studio 2009 Podcast. Where can the people find you on social media, sir?
At SCP-21.
I am at TFG1Mike on most all social medias. My Facebook fan page is facebook.com/TFG2Mike because my personal fan page, or my personal page, is TFG1Mike. You can follow at GeekCast Radio for all the other network updates. Join us next time when we'll be talking about something in the audio or visual realm. I have no plan for episode 22 currently, folks. I'm sitting here looking at the schedule, and it's that blank cursor just blinking at me, like just daring me to write something. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing next episode. So yeah, that's what's going on. We hope you enjoyed our discussion of the Mighty Ducks franchise. I'm sure there's things we missed. We didn't go super in-depth, but I think we've said what we needed to say. And overall, in general, even though I have some little bitty nitpicks with Game Changers, I still love this franchise. I still love the classic characters. So good.
That it is.
All right, we will catch you in the studio soon, ladies and gentlemen. See you next time.
Swing,
Averman. It's hockey. There's no batter. Idiot.
Goalie, 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 hey, goalie, 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 save, goalie, 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 hey, goalie, 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 goalie.